Welcome back to Real America. Time now for our Patriot Report. My next guest joining me in studio, this guy, let me just say, wherever he goes, he's turning heads. Stephen Davis, or MAGA Hulk, as he goes by online, lives out in California. He's a proud Donald Trump supporter, and I just like to see people tell him that he shouldn't support our president. And I think you'll see why. He joins us now in our studios. Can we zoom that camera back out just a smidge? Just pull out right there. There we go. You're not fitting his biceps and his shoulders. Stephen Davis, welcome to Real America, and thanks for keeping it real online. How you doing, brother?
Doing just fine, and thank you for having me.
I mean, my God, your arm is the size of my chest. Before we get to your political stance and why you support the president and what you've been seeing out there on the streets of California at your peaceful assemblies, tell me how you came up with the handle. Because the social media handle is the first thing that caught my eye months ago on Insta or Twitter somewhere. Your name is Stephen Davis, but you call yourself MAGA Hulk. Obviously, when we look at you, we know why. But did you come up with it, or did somebody call you that?
I was dubbed MAGA Hulk by Benny Johnson, TPUSA's Benny Johnson. He interviewed me, and he right on the spot, he called me MAGA Hulk, and it just stuck. From that moment on, it just stuck.
So I got to wonder, because I watch your videos, has anyone, because let's be real, a lot of these protests on the left are not peaceful. They are violent as hell. They are looting. They are rioting. They are shooting cops. They're burning down people's private businesses and homes and beating cops. Every time I see your videos, they're peaceful. Does anyone ever get up in your face and try to get physical with you?
Not at all. Not at all. I wonder why. I can't seem to put my finger on it. But thankfully, it's never been a confrontational situation with me. I try to use my words as much as possible. I try to create a welcoming environment for them to understand that I'm not coming at them to, beat them down, to berate them, to hurt or harm them. I'm just here to, have a civil dialogue, and I'm all about civil dialogue.
Thank you for saying that. And isn't it interesting that a lot of folks on the conservative side keep reiterating that we will come to the table, sit down, have a civil discussion, and at the end of the day, and I've said this to a lot of my liberal friends in the media and elsewhere, at the end, if we can't agree, then let's just simply say, let's agree to disagree and move on with our lives. Not trash the business, not break this, not try to beat someone down physically or verbally or online, boycott their business and ruin them because you simply disagree with their political viewpoint.
Exactly.
Why can't we have that discussion anymore?
It seems to be something that's gone. It's a far gone thing at this point in time. We can't seem to have this civil discussion and be able to agree to disagree, and that's fine. It's okay. But we need to bridge this divide, and we need to bridge this gap that's been widening and widening between the two sides. And the only way we can do that is if we have civil dialogue, agree to disagree, and hey, take it to the polls, and we'll vote for whatever idea that is popular.
Yeah. Stephen, let's talk about how you got into all of this. Have you always been political, or was this something that stirred up inside you during the 2016 campaign, or just recently because you've seen what's happening in our country over the last, let's say, 6 to 8 months with the lockdown and then the BLM movement and now the Antifa terrorist group taking over certain streets and cities around our country? What really got that fire in your belly to say, I got to go out there and make a difference?
Well, I just got tired of the rhetoric of Donald Trump being racist. He's a racist. He's a racist. And it got to the point where I started believing it, but I didn't understand why I was believing it. I couldn't have a rational discussion with people as to tell them, well, I believe it because X, Y, and Z. So I was like, you know what? Let me do a little research, use my critical thinking skills, and let me tackle this. And I did my research, and I come to find out, hey, I believe in this policy that he did. I believe in that ideology that he has. This guy is the best thing for America. His policies have shown that time and time and time again. So I started getting into the realm of politics. I started having these debates because a lot of times it boils down to rationality, just common sense. What's good for America? What's going to uplift America as opposed to what's going to tear down America? And you see what's going on in this day and age, especially in this day and age, where people are trying to defund the police. They're trying to, they're looting, they're rioting, they're tearing down the very fabric of our country, trying to shred our Constitution in many ways. And it's like, you know what? I got to do something. Something has to be done. And if these other people are not going to do it, then I'm going to do it. And it got to that point, so now here I am, and I'm going to keep doing it.
And MAGA Hulk, that's why you are being profiled tonight in our Patriot Report as our Patriot, because you just saw a problem and you decided to step up and be a Patriot and fight for your country.
Right.
To use a Bidenism. Come on, man. You ain't voting for Biden, you ain't black.
Oh,
now, I just want to confirm this, and I've had to do this with several previous guests. You are black, and you support President Trump.
Absolutely.
Thank you for getting that on the record. Just wanted to break that narrative that we hear from the left and the media, certain media outlets, that minorities, women, keep going down the list, are all against Trump because he's racist, he's homophobic, he's xenophobic, yada, 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 yada. And then you have dozens, hundreds, thousands of people that are showing up to the campaign rallies online, supporting him, making TikTok videos, creating names for themselves like MAGA Hulk, and supporting this president, yet you don't see any coverage like that on any of the mainstream media, do you?
Not at all. It goes against the narrative. That's the whole problem that we're up against right now. I mean, you look at the Democrat Party, they're the ones that have been steeped in racism, from the KKK. They're the party of slavery. They're the party of Jim Crow. They're the party of segregation. You fast forward decades, you got the Great Society Act, which tore down the black community. You fast forward a couple more decades, and you have Joe Biden saying that if you don't vote for me, if you don't know whether you're voting for me or not, then you ain't black. It's this constant narrative that's being pushed on one particular side of the aisle that's completely false. I'm sick of the narratives. It's up to us to combat that, and that's what we're doing right now.
Who says something that stupid? Like that right there is a racist comment, and nobody in the mainstream media called him out for that and said, Joe. And they've had nice sit-down chats with him, like a fireside chat almost, at this drive-in thing the other night. He sits down with all of them. They give him an hour on their shows. Wolf Blitzer the other day, Anderson Cooper here on those other networks. I don't even like mentioning their call letters. And nobody hammers him. Nobody fires those questions. But by golly, when President Trump stands up there, okay, and I've been a journalist, now turned talk show host, but guess what? When I was a journalist, I never, ever, and I've met several presidents and fired questions at them, would treat a president of the United States, whether I hated him, loved him, disliked, liked or not, with the disdain that they treat our current president with. It's disgusting when I hear the questions. And then Joe, nobody calls out for saying, do you think you were like racist and trying to guilt black people if they don't vote for you? Because that's what my takeaway was. I mean, and people might say, oh, stop harping on that, stop harping on that. That's what came out of his mouth. And if you go back and look, he has a track record of making racist comments.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Didn't want schools desegregated and integrated, right? Because what? What did he say in 77 or 78? Because they would turn into jungles.
Yes, he didn't want a racial jungle for his kids.
Right. And there's more to list, but we won't go there. Stephen MAGA Hulk Davis, talk about what you got coming up in the future. I know you've been attending some of these peaceful MAGA protests around your state, out in the Golden State. Where are we going to see you, and how can they follow folks? Give yourself a nice plug out there, because I enjoy your content, and I think a lot of patriots and conservatives will love following you and see what you're doing.
Well, I'm a newly TPUSA contributor, so you can find me on Turning Point USA, absolutely. You can find me Stephen Davis on Turning Point USA. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Real MAGA Hulk. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on YouTube, Real Talk Period Productions, as well as a new show that we started called You Ain't Black, Joe Biden. That's for you. And you definitely find me out in these rallies, and I'll always stand for America.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what, if I could come over there and give you a hug, I mean, I'd only be able to probably hug your arm, because I'm not getting my arms around you, I would. But we're trying to follow the rules of COVID, and that's why we're keeping you 6 feet away.
Right.
Okay. Stephen Davis, thank you so much for coming on Real America. Appreciate it. You can come on anytime, man, and talk about your beliefs, your patriotism, and your love for this country and our president, because I think more folks, not only in the black community, just more folks in general living in this country, need to hear from patriots like you.